If you're thinking about adding supplements to your diet to help support your bones, here's some things to consider. Hi, Cindy Nicholson here from realfoodwithcindy.com, and today I thought I'd talk a little bit more about support that you can give to your bones and whether or not it makes sense to supplement. Now, last week I talked about vitamin D3, magnesium, and K2, so the question is, does it make sense to supplement? Well, as you can imagine, it depends. There's so many variables that go into that question that it's difficult to make a sweeping answer. So that's why I thought I'd give some tips and considerations you can think about when deciding whether or not to supplement. So let me start by saying, make every effort you can to get your nutrients from real food first. Have you ever heard the expression, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts? I think this applies to food as well. We know about fats, proteins, vitamins, and minerals, but what we don't know much about is the synergistic nature of how these nutrients work together. So if you're taking it in an isolated supplemental form, we don't really know what we're missing out on. The other thing to consider is that these nutrients are the most bioavailable, meaning we can digest and absorb them when they come in real food. So let's start with vitamin D3. Now really the best source is the sun, so if you live somewhere where you get lots of sun year-round, you're probably good to go. On the other hand, if you live somewhere like me in Canada and don't get as much sun in the wintertime, you may want to consider supplementation. So how much do you need? Well, it depends. Before you start supplementing, you really should know what your vitamin D levels already are. How do you do this? Well, it's a blood test. I don't know if you can see, but I've got the remnants of the blood work I did last week. Once you know your current levels, then you can adjust your supplementation accordingly. Next up, magnesium. Now, magnesium has so many functions in the body, including bone health. The challenge is it's difficult to get magnesium from our food. Our soil's becoming increasingly depleted, so the plants can't absorb it. So if you're considering magnesium supplementation, you'll find that there's a whole boatload of different types out there. Magnesium glycinate is one that's considered the most bioavailable. Now, magnesium citrate will also work. You just have to be careful of the dosage because you just might be running off to the bathroom a little bit more with that one. And now for our little known vitamin K2. Now, if you're consuming sufficient amounts of grass-fed dairy, cod liver oil, or fermented foods like natto, you might already be set. But if you're considering supplementation, just make sure you don't confuse K1 with K2. They both have different functions in the body, and when it comes to bone health, you want to make sure you get K2. Now, when you see K2 in the stores, you'll find it comes in a couple of different forms, MK4 and MK7. Now, it's thought that MK7 is preferable because it has a longer half-life than the other version. Now, an appropriate dose for the MK7 version is about 120 micrograms per day. So I wanted to just make a final comment about calcium supplementation. It's a hotly debated topic and there's mixed research out there about its efficacy. I think the key is that if you decide to take a calcium supplement, you just need to make sure it's combined with the other nutrients that I've mentioned. Remember, if you take calcium, you want to make sure it gets where it's supposed to go. So those are my thoughts on supplementation. There really is more to consider than just popping some pills. Now, if you like my video and would like me to let you know when my next video is available, sign up in the box provided on my website. Thanks so much for watching.